What is going on, everyone? Jim here, RC After Dark, doing a little show and tell here with my niece's 1967 Chevy C10 SCX24 pickup and some first day upgrades on the vehicle before we even took it out on the trail. Some of the upgrades that we did to it right off the bat. Obviously, you can see that we relocated our headlights from down inside the bumper to up inside the grille. And I added a set of amber lights to the bumper. Haven't added any taillights to the back of this vehicle as of yet. I ran out of 3mm bulbs, so I have no 3mm bulbs at all on hand. So still don't have any taillights hooked up on this vehicle, but we did hook up a jumper wire for the battery. I did hook up an on-off switch for our lights, and I also gave the vehicle a little bit of a body lift. So we'll talk about all that good nonsense right here. Obviously, we do have taillights on the deadbolt there. On-off switch for the lights on the deadbolt, body lift on the deadbolt as well. Jeep JLU CRC. I have that online headlight kit bolted up here in the front. Took my stock headlights from the front bumper, moved them to the back, poked some holes in the back, painted those red with some red paint there, some clear red paint. That way we have some taillights on that vehicle. Also have a body lift on this vehicle. And once again, body lift on the new vehicle. So let's get the lights on here and take a peek at what we got going on under the hood. Taking a look at our vehicle. That is with a body lift on it, everyone. And that is about as high as you can possibly lift the body on it without really doing any kind of damage or without making it look very noticeable that you did a body lift on it. So that's what we got going on so far, and I'll give you a little walkthrough on that. Not the easiest vehicle to do a body lift as far as the SCX24s go. Probably one of the more difficult ones to do a body lift on. Very easy to do a body lift on the JLU CRC, and very, very easy to do one on the deadbolt. Why would you want to do one on the deadbolt, you say? Well, the only real reason you would need a body lift on the deadbolt, everyone, is if you want to clear a bigger battery. And right now we have a Gould RC 1200 milliamp 2S LiPo in the deadbolt and another one in the Jeep. Roughly a little bit more than 2 times the size of your stock battery, more than 2 times the weight of your stock battery, and more than 3 times the run length out of that. So definitely a big payoff with doing that. Body lift on this is easy. Once again, very simple. Just a matter of removing those 2 screws, one on either side for the front body posts, raising those up 1 notch, coming around to the back here, and the back is just mounted at one place right up there at the bottom of the bed. That is the hinge point. So I just removed the 2 screws up here on top, that guy and that guy, and then put a plastic spacer in there and a couple of washers and some longer screws, and bolted it back down, and voila, we have a body lift on the deadbolt. Here's our on-off switch for our lights on the deadbolt right there, mounted upside down and double-sided taped to the underside of the battery tray. So easy access right there to get to our lights. Does not get in the way of the suspension or the axle or any kind of travel or anything like that. So a nice location. Once again, easy access for it. Easy to do a body lift. Jeep. Only real reason to do a body lift on the Jeep, everyone, is just for looks, essentially. Plenty of room underneath the hood there for that battery. That big Gould RC 1200 milliamp battery that's in there, so lots of room for that. Only real reason for the body lift, once again, is just so you can get it to look a little bit better off-road. And this one is easy to do a body lift on as well. Single body mount on the front, single post, but dual mounting points. So just a matter of loosening up both of those screws on either side, raising that up 1 notch. And then on the back here, it's mounted right here on this hinge plate. I do have a video on this one, everyone. It's just a matter of coming in here and undoing these screws and making some new holes and remounting that plate in a lower location. And voila, you got a body lift on your Jeep. On-off switch on the Jeep, everyone is actually mounted up or right side up under here, so I have to reach up a little bit higher to get mine, but there's plenty of room on the Jeep to do that. Taking a look at our pickup, there we go, everyone. Here's our pickup. Once again, we do have a body lift on this, obviously. There's our light switch mounting location on the pickup, easy to see. Not interfering with suspension travel. Easy access to reach up in here and just shut those lights off. Piece of cake. And my amber lights right there are running lights. I actually have those wired right into the ESC currently, just plugged into the ESC. As soon as I get my tail lights hooked up, I will wire those into the loop. So let's take a look under the hood on our little pickup here, everyone. I also raised the bumper on this truck as well to match our body lift. So take a look at the body lift. Let's just get that all covered and taken care of, everyone. Looking at the back here, it mounts in 2 points. It mounts right up here at the bottom of the bed, and it also mounts along the bottom of the body at the bumper. So not the easiest to do a body lift on. You can see where I added a couple of plastic washers right down there at the back of the bed. There's 2 black plastic washers down there, just to raise that up a little bit. For the back bed holes down here, for the bumper mount, that was a little bit more difficult. So we can see in there, you can see the old holes, maybe, possibly. Let's get the camera up on an angle so we can actually see this, everyone. Right back here. There we go. You can see the holes right above that lower bumper mount. Basically, I just took the bumper mount off, had the body off, and I heated up a scratch-awl or a poker, or a little hot a pick, heated it up with a blowtorch, and then stuck it inside the existing hole and just brought that pick straight down, elongating those holes, making sure not to go through the very end of the body. So I didn't go through the plastic at the end, just elongated those holes as far as I possibly could without actually going through the body and separating the plastic or the PVC at the end there. So essentially you're raising up the body back there, and that's how we did our body lift on the vehicle. Front, once again, very easy, just removing these 2 screws and raising up those posts a couple notches. Looking at our front bumper, not the easiest thing to do a lift on it, everyone. And that's a matter of, I went and checked out all the different bumper mounts from the Jeep JLU CRC to the deadbolt. Deadbolt is 1-to-1 with the frame. Jeep JLU CRC is very similar to this. It's a different looking mount, but it brings it down and out basically in the same location. I tried removing the bumper mount and flipping it upside down, and it brings the bumper up to about the middle of the grill, so it doesn't look right doing that. Only real way that I could raise this bumper mount, everyone, or raise the bumper, was to remove the bumper from the mount itself. So we got our little slide pegs right here that slide into the bumper mount. There's 2 holes there where it slides into the bumper mount itself. I remove the bumper from the bumper mount and have it essentially sitting on top of the bumper mount and reattached. I'll explain how I do that. Those 2 holes in the bumper mount that bumper slides through, those pegs slide through those holes, I drilled a hole in the bottom of those bumper mount holes. That way I could recess the screw inside that hole right up to the bottom edge of this plastic right along here. So it's sitting right at the bottom edge of the inside of the plastic and recessed through the hole, and then the bumper is screwed down on top of the bumper mount itself. And then I came in with a grinder and put the bumper mount on a grinder and removed some plastic along the bottom, just where those little ridges are. There's like a little ridge from where those bumper holes are for those pegs to slide through. So I ground that ridge down flat, came in right along the bottom there, and just ground this ridge down flat so that blends in nice and easy, and nice and smooth along the bottom there. And we'll take a look at our recessed holes here. Alright, so here are our recessed holes. So normally your bumper would slide through these holes, which we're not going to be able to see. But there's a little gap in between here, and your bumper slides in between that. Once again, I drilled a hole right in the bottom here and recessed that screw right inside that gap. So that is a new attachment point. And then once again, ground the little nubs right up here, ground those down flat, the little nubs that were up there. So this is nice and smooth across the bottom. Another day one upgrade, everyone, that I find is absolutely necessary, and that is a battery jumper wire right here, everybody. So normally your battery, every time you go to plug in your vehicle or recharge your vehicle, or you're not running your vehicle, you're constantly plugging in and unplugging your battery from your ESC/receiver right here. And that's very hard on your ESC/receiver, very hard on the plug, very hard on your fingers trying to get that thing in and out of there, hard on the wires, pulling on the plug because it's just such a pain in the butt to get out of there. So I found it very necessary to come up with a jumper wire to alleviate that headache, everyone. And basically very simple to do. Used a male and a female JST connector, essentially removing the battery connector off of the battery. You can see where I cut it right there, and soldering a male JST connector onto the battery connector and a female JST connector onto what was left of the original battery connector. And then the battery connector stays plugged into the ESC at all times, and you're just disconnecting your battery from right here from that point on. Now, mental note, everyone, if you're going to do this, when you're soldering and cutting your wires, when you're cutting this connector off of your battery, do it one wire at a time. One wire at a time. That way you don't short out your battery and arc things out. Very, very important that you don't do that. So I usually just cut one wire. I cut the positive wire, solder my positive wire on for my JST connector. Cut your negative wire and then solder your negative wire on for your JST connector. That way you're not arcing anything out. So there is our new connection for our battery. Very easy to plug in and unplug. You still can plug your charge your battery off of your balance port back there on your original charger, or like myself, I plug this into my my big battery charger, and the same one that I have all my big RCs plugged into. So that is what I use right there, everyone, and I highly recommend a little jumper wire like that. But once again, one wire at a time, everyone. Just cut one wire, solder it on, then cut the other wire and solder it on. That way you're not going to take the risk of arcing out your battery. On-off switch for the lights. Same location that I put all my on-off switches right here, everyone. There's two little plastic gussets that hang off the back of the battery tray. I just go in there with a little razor knife, cut those gussets flat, use a piece of double-sided tape to stick our on-off switch right in between our rear shock post right back there. Great location for the on-off switch. Doesn't get in the way. You can run your wires right on down the side of the battery, and it looks good. And there we have it, everyone. Got her all buttoned down and ready for the trail there. Body lift, not even noticeable. Bumper sitting up nicely with this little lift on it. Can't even tell that it's been raised up nice and smooth under here. Lines up great with the body. Rear bumper as well, lining up great with the stickers and all that nonsense on the back here, our taillight stickers. In its factory location, its stock location, everyone, these taillight stickers are fairly long, and they actually sit down below the bumper a little bit. So having the lift on there actually makes it look a little bit more natural. And it's definitely not noticeable. So there you go, everyone. Some of our first day upgrades, our little on-off switch for our lights, relocating our headlights up into the grill. Mental note on these, everyone, just a little sticker going over these headlights. So don't peel those off, or you're going to have a big hollow hole underneath there, or an open headlight bucket. So I basically just poked a hole through the sticker there, and poked the bulbs right through the holes on the sticker, just to kind of blend them in a little bit. So mental note on that as well. And then as well as our little jumper wire. Once again, I feel that it's very necessary having that battery jumper wire on there. Definitely going to prolong the life of your vehicle, that is for sure. So that is going to do it, everyone. Those are some of our first day upgrades on my niece's little 1967 Chevy C10 pickup here, and we're definitely looking forward to getting it out on the trail and seeing how it performs with the other SCXs. So that's going to do it for right now, and we will see you all on the next video. Thanks again.